Schumer announces same-sex marriage vote details.
This legislation is so important. I was really impressed by how much bipartisan support it got in the House. It passed 267 to 157, 47 Republicans, about a quarter, a little less than a quarter of their caucus, maybe a fifth, voted for the bill. The legislation is so important. I spoke to Senator Baldwin, who is one of the leaders of this legislation in the Senate this morning, and she is talking to Republicans to see where the support is. I want to bring this bill to the floor, and we're working to get the necessary Senate Republican support to ensure it would pass.
Senate Majority Leader since January 20, 2021, Chuck Schumer, stated that the Senate would vote to protect same-sex marriage in the coming weeks, pushing Republicans to take the same stance ahead of the midterm elections. Schumer's announcement comes as Senators Tammy Baldwin and Susan Collins are striving to shore up the 10 GOP votes required to pass the bill to codify same-sex marriage. Both Baldwin and Collins met with Senators Rob Portman, Thom Tillis, and Kyrsten Sinema on Wednesday to discuss the future steps. Apart from Collins, Portman, and Tillis, Senator Lisa Murkowski has also spoken in favor of the effort, but hasn't shown any commitment to vote in its favor. Meanwhile, Senator Ron Johnson, the most vulnerable GOP incumbent, has openly expressed his will to vote against the bill in its current form. Collins and Baldwin are currently working on an amendment that clarifies that the bill wouldn't affect religious liberty or conscience protections. Collins said that they are carefully paying attention to all the concerns raised by some of their colleagues and that they are striving to reach an amendment that would empower the language in the bill to make it crystal clear that the bill does not infringe upon religious liberties. Prior to Schumer's announcement, some Senate Democrats suggested attaching the same-sex marriage bill to a short-term government funding bill. But Baldwin is seeking a standalone vote with the hope to pass it sooner. So here it is, folks. The time has come. Remember, Clarence Thomas told us a couple months back that this was underway, and here it is. The Democrats need 10 GOP senators to make this pass. And I, for one, hope that they get those 10 senators. Will they?
What do you think? Your crystal ball says?
I don't want to answer that, Al.
I say yes.
I want to think positively with Jamal.
Yes. I'm going to be optimistic because I just read a little headline at the bottom that said Peppa Pig is introducing their first set of gay parents, and I was just happy to see that after the horrible news with the Miami-Dade schools. So I was just looking for a glimmer of hope, and that was my glimmer of hope.
So if Peppa Pig is coming over,
if she can do it, we can.
My glimmer of hope is that Susan Collins is sponsoring this bill after what she did when, with the Supreme Court and her responsibility on filling the Supreme Court with these nuts that we got during the Trump years. Mm-hmm. So the fact that she's doing this is showing, well, first of all, isn't she coming up for elections in November? So whatever the reason is, I think it's positive that she's doing this because of what she has done with the Supreme Court.
I think keeping it standalone, separate from getting it tied up in government funding bills and all that kind of stuff, it just convolutes it so much. And having it standalone is a statement within itself, I think, and I'm glad that they're pushing it in that direction.
Just to provide some context for LGBT viewers that are watching this conversation and this story, Schumer's playing chess. And Schumer is a damn good chess player, first. He's playing chess of saying it's going to come up in the coming weeks. When is that? In the coming weeks. And he's shooting across different bows. And the reason he's shooting across different bows is this is a very hard no vote for probably 17 to 19 Republican senators that are running for re-election. It is a hard vote. So they're playing chess, and that's why Baldwin wants it to be a standalone vote as opposed to an add-on in someplace else where they could get it passed, because they would get enough votes so the Republicans that would justify it by saying, well, we had to fund the government, so therefore we voted yes. They're willing to water this down. Religious rights, religious rights, religious rights. At the end of the day, it does not infringe on any state that does not want to recognize. The importance of the legislation is it recognizes your marriage in the state that you're in, and when Massachusetts and California does it, which is guaranteed forever and ever and ever, until the year 3000, gay marriage is going to be legal in those two states, it gets recognized every place else. So go to X state and get married, and you're recognized.
And you're good.
This is, it's chess. They're playing chess.
It's strategic.
And exactly. So give them their religious rights. That's why they're talking about the amendments, because that, at the end of the day, will not stop what is at play here. What's really at play here is the midterm election.
Right.
That's what's at play. And Senator Portman, or I'm sorry, Senator Johnson from Wisconsin is so interesting in this story, as you report. He initially comes out, yes. Why does he initially come out, yes? And we talked about it here at Queer News Tonight. We got Johnson? No, we didn't get Johnson. He's running for re-election.
That's right.
And he said before his primary, wait, I'm okay with it, until he realized he's going to be primaried and said, now I'm no.
Second thought, no. Sorry, I meant to say no.
I meant to say no. It's completely political.
Yeah.
And once we realize that our rights are just playing politics, Governor DeSantis, we know what you're doing now. Marco Rubio, we know what you're doing now. And Schumer is a good chess player. So take heart, because we're watching this closely. And if I was going to bet money, that's why I ask you, what do you think? If I was going to bet money, even if we lose, we're still going to win. Because the midterm election is really the critical piece.
They'll be on the record.
They'll be on the record. Go out there and say, no, you don't believe in civil rights. Go ahead, do it.
I dare you.
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.